Hey everyone. Hopefully you guys can see me now. Uh, wow, I was really having a hard time starting this thing up today. I just uh, I just walked in the door not more than 15-20 minutes ago, and oh my God, traffic around here is just so bad. But anyhow, I was coming back from the uh, camera store, and I'll just give them a free plug. Here's a district camera in this one was the Burke location, and I got my oh my God, I know I have hat hair today, but I did cut my hair yesterday. Thanks for noticing. But I wore my hat all day today, and now it's all flat. But anyhow, I got my E-M5 Mark III today, so I'm really happy. But yeah, so let's unbox it. Okay, so here it is. But there's nothing in there. It came with a manual this time. I'm not used to that. I guess I don't remember getting a thick manual, but I think like it's this thick and 100 pages, and then like 12 pages are in English. Um, but anyhow, thank you. Yeah, I'm so happy. Gosh, I only took a few pictures inside the camera store, and then I just had to rush back. But oh my God, the traffic. It took me an hour and a half to get home. And I didn't get a chance to go and shoot this for anything more than just what I was able to get in the camera store. And I've already deleted those, but thanks. Yeah, I mean, you get a charger and a battery and the strap and the camera. That's about it, and some plastic, right? What else is there to unbox? It's I didn't get the one with the kit lens. I got the body only. So my box is a little bit smaller than the other person that was there. I met someone there that knew me. We were picking up our EM5s at the same time, and they said they had bought it on my recommendation. So and they're looking forward to the tutorials. Oh, thanks, Dave. Um, yeah, I try. I tried. I got some other batch files I'm working on that are. One is that kind of inspired by Noe Al's the rain photographer. He does that cyberpunk, so that's kind of how I got that cyberpunk look, as I did all that in camera. And I got another one I'm going to try is anime. So gosh, I think it was someone who was asking about how to download those, or they were able to download them, but they didn't know how to apply them when they were in workspace. So anyhow, this is a very different time. I've never done a live stream this late. For me, anyway, it's almost 9 p.m. here for me, and man, I'm usually in bed by 10, and that's usually after I took a nap around 2 o'clock. Mm. So I'm gonna load up on my Star Trek mug coffee. Gosh, I love this mug. I got this as a gift, like, man, maybe 25 years ago. Whenever this movie came out, uh, Undiscovered Country, I think, is the one. Oh, but anyhow, I'm sorry for getting started so slowly here and talking about cameras. But if you guys have any other questions, that would help. Chronologically enhanced. What do you mean by that? um, is that something from the movie? Gosh, that sounds familiar. Oh, hey, Richard, how are you? Or Depot, how you doing? And I think it was Natalie. Hi, if you're watching too. It's glad you guys could join me. Yeah, Depot is over at the camera store with me. Uh, you know, God, this is the third time I think we've run into each other. That's kind of weird. Um, but yeah. Oh, hi, Abdul. Wow, a lot of regulars here. Wow, it's already ramping up here already. It's a lot of people in. So, anyway, I kind of, God, I'm sorry. Let me get some more coffee. I need a cough button because my throat is really clogged up. But here it is. It's the E-M5 Mark III. And it's, you know, it looks just like all the pictures and everything that you see online. Nothing special. Oh, is there a big weight difference from the Mark II? Not really. It's about the same. I mean, it feels a little lighter, but it's not. It's not substantial. Like if you held them side by side together, you might notice that one is a little bit lighter. But you know, just holding them separately, it would be, I think, hard to tell that this is like 50 grams lighter. Gosh, I hope you guys. I'm using the kit lens on the EM1 Mark II to do the live stream today. So the video might not be as clear or focused as well. It's not as good. Because what I wanted to do is maybe show you guys what this camera looks like with 12 to 40 Pro lens. Because I mean, you can see this lens weighs 400 grams, and this camera is what, 420 grams. So together, this is like 820 grams with this lens and this camera. And which is the same as the Fujifilm with its kit lens that I bought, that XT30. That thing is just a hair over 800 grams with the kit lens. And this is a far superior camera in my opinion. I did get a new keyboard, Dave. Thanks for asking. This is the Logitech G something. I don't know. It's a G613. It's a gaming keyboard. And what I like about it, it has both Bluetooth and USB 2.4 gigahertz wireless, so you can go either way. So when I'm streaming, I use the Bluetooth feature, but if I enable the Wi-Fi, the 2.4 gigahertz, it has all these special functions here that I can program and do some macro stuff. So I've already programmed one of the keys to cut and paste things so I can do things a little faster in Instagram. No, it doesn't have backlighting, unfortunately. I mean, yeah, I would have liked backlighting, but the trade-off is you lose a little bit of battery life, right? So this one's supposed to last, I don't know, like a year on these batteries, versus if you get the backlit keyboards, they last like maybe 2 weeks, as you know, give or take. Yeah, you know, I talk a lot in metric terms now. You know, because I have a worldwide audience, right? But also because, you know, the lens focal length is always expressed in millimeters. So it just makes sense to follow that with grams. You know, how much things weigh in grams, what things measure in millimeters, what things are distance in meters, like when I'm talking about focusing. So I typically interchange meters and feet, you know, inadvertently. And actually, even in one of my live streams, when I was talking about how cold it was, I was like, man, it's like 0 Celsius out here. So I mean, I prefer the metric system personally, but it's I mean, it's so much better, but it's hard to get my brain to switch. So I force myself sometimes to switch because I think most people are fine with using metric, even here in the U.S. But, you know, overseas, right? You guys probably, you know, Fahrenheit and feet and yards. This probably sounds weird to you, right? It's hard for you to translate that because it's not used anywhere else, right? But metric is used everywhere. Oh yeah, sorry. I'll hold it up again. But here it is. I got the black one. Because I just like black now for some reason. I did like silver for a long time, but I thought black, black just looks more professional to me now. So I got black, and I mean the silver is beautiful cosmetically, but somebody was concerned about the paint scratching. Like I don't know if it's a painted silver or if it's actually just a molded plastic silver, but black you don't have to worry about it at all. And fortunately, I still like black. I don't like the Pen F in black. That looks weird to me, but the M5 is good. Yeah, the silver looks more retro, definitely. But I got an OM1 for that, right? um, let's see. The M5 Mark III does not have my sets. It has the alternate version of the same thing, custom settings, and it has 3 custom settings. The only problem is that you only have one custom setting here on the top. You know, a C, right? Right here. That's the only one. On the M1 Mark II, you got 3, and then on the Pen F, you can see the Pen F. Oops. It's hard to see with the light. You can see there's C1, 2, 3, 4. So the Pen F has 4 custom modes. So the only way to get the customs number 2 and 3 is you have to go into the menu. Custom 1 is the only one you can access from the mode dial. The M5 Mark III currently does not have a battery grip. The grip that you see people that use it, it's basically just a little bit thick on the bottom with the grip on the front and a button. Now what's weird to me is it has these contacts on the bottom. I don't know if there's enough contacts there to eventually make a grip that could hold batteries, right? They may not ever do that, but just seeing what's metal and what's plastic. Oh yeah, my EM10 right now has a grip on it. But there they are side by side. Let me take the grip off. Maybe that'll be a little more representative, right? Oh. I keep coins everywhere, but I'm having trouble picking it up. I should have a body cap here. Anyway. Here, I'll take the lens off this just to... Yeah, kit lens is doing okay, right, for focusing? I mean, it's just a hair slower than the Pro lens, but... Alright, here's the EM10 and the... I don't know how I can hold this so you guys can kind of tell. Here's the EM10... Mark II with the E-M5 Mark III. So the EM10 is still a little bit smaller. See if I can level it here. I'm having some parallax issues here. And then here's the bottom. Right? And then here's the top. Let me hold it this way. So that's what they look like side by side. So the M5 is still, you know, significantly larger, but in terms of weight, they feel about the same. Because, you know, the M10 still has a lot of metal on it, the Mark II, and the M5 is all plastic now. So they feel about the same weight. I have a scale here somewhere. I could actually probably weigh them. Let's see what the EM10 weighs just like this. I mean, I know we can look up the numbers, but it's not quite the same. It's just... All right, let's see. I wish I could find a grip. Oh, I know. There is a grip similar to the one I have, but it doesn't have the Arca Swiss plate on the bottom. Okay, here's the EM10. 300. So this is 390 grams, EM10 Mark II. And is the battery in here? Yeah, it's a battery in there. And this is 422 grams. So this is 32 grams heavier than the EM10 Mark II. But like I said, when I'm holding them side by side, yeah, I can feel a tiny bit more here. But if I held them separately, I probably wouldn't be able to tell. Let's see. In your experience, what's the AF speed like in comparison to previous EM5? Also, how are the new autofocus functions? I can only tell you from the EM1 Mark II, because that camera I've been using a long time. This one, I just got it today, and I didn't get more than a couple of shots before I had to drive home from the camera store. And I got stuck in traffic, so I got no shots with it. But the EM5 Mark, or the EM1 Mark II and the EM5 Mark II have the same autofocusing system. And the EM1 Mark II is awesome. It's so much better than the EM10s and the older EM5s. Mainly because it does have the phase detect autofocus, so it acquires focus a lot faster. But another significant difference is the low light focusing ability. The EM10 and the EM5s, they can hunt a lot as soon as the light starts to drop. But with this EM1 and the EM5 Mark III, you're not going to have that issue. I did test some of the low light focusing a little bit just in my living room because it's dark in there, and the focusing was awesome. And that's a huge benefit. Yeah, the EM10 is an awesome camera. I mean, for $500, it's amazing. You know, but I just saw the Panasonic G85 with 2 lenses for $500 online. That's a pretty good deal too, if you want 4K, because the M10 doesn't have 4K. The M5 Mark III has 4K, so, but it's about $100 more with 1 lens. The new autofocus functions, I don't know if there's anything really new other than what's on the EM5 Mark or EM1 Mark II. Oben made a great grip for the 10. Wish they'd done the same with the 5s. Yeah, it's a little bit better. Adam, you know, that's what I wanted to show you. That's why I'm not using the 12 to 40 Pro. It's because I wanted to show you what this lens, because this is, oh, thank you, Adam. But here's the let me, I don't know if I can get this in a place that makes sense. Here's the Pro lens on the EM5 Mark III. So it's not bad, right? And then in terms of actually holding it, you know, my fingers, I really need to get more light in here. Here. That's a little bit too much light, but I'm not having really any problem with where my fingers are going, but you can see it's a little bit tight here. I mean, I have very small hands, so my fingers fit just fine, right? But I don't know about somebody that has bigger hands if this is going to be a little bit of a problem, because it is tight, if you can see. like that. See, I have small fingers, right? But if I had the grip on there, my fingers would only come to about here. But without the grip, you know, you got to hold it like this. And these pro lenses, you can see how this one bulges out versus this is the 45 millimeters. See how much more room there is with the 45? No problem at all. So, you know, you have to consider that I'm definitely going to get a grip for this. Probably not the one that Olympus makes. I'm going to wait for a nice third-party one because I really like this this wooden handle grip. You know, this is really nice in my opinion. I just love how that looks on this. So I'm going to get one of these when they come out. Okay. Let me go back up a little bit. Jack De La Cruz is asking if the E-M5 Mark III is the same as the E-M1 Mark II, which one would I upgrade to? And my answer would say it depends on what lenses you use. If you use a lot of pro lenses, if you use all pro lenses like this, I would get the E-M1 Mark II. Because it has a substantial grip already built in, and it's a lot easier to handle these kinds of lenses, especially the bigger, heavier pro lenses. If you shoot mostly the small primes, like, you know, this 45 on here, you can see it's no problem. And the 25 and the 12 and the kit lenses, all of the regular lenses by Olympus, the non-pro lenses, I would recommend this to go smaller and lighter. So there's that. All right. Now there is the other consideration is that the M1 Mark II has slightly more pro features in terms of the pro capture. So if you're heavy into sports and action, yeah, get the M1 Mark II. But I think for the average person, the E-M5 Mark III makes a lot more sense, being smaller, lighter, more compact. Especially if you put on one of the pancake kit lenses. You can take this thing with you everywhere. It'll fit in a coat pocket, like a field jacket kind of pocket. Yeah, the E-M5 Mark III, something's got to give, right? They want to make this a hybrid camera. Errol's saying that he doesn't like the screen the way it flips out this way. And I agree with you in that I think for photography, you know, I much prefer just tilting up this way, like this. This to me is a lot easier for taking pictures, just doing photography. But they wanted to make the E-M5 a hybrid, and I know that was a deal breaker for a lot of photographers, that flip out screen. But the good thing is the E-M10 Mark II, up until this came out, took just as good of pictures as the E-M5 Mark II. So you weren't sacrificing image quality with the E-M10 Mark II versus the E-M5 Mark II. So you really had a choice. Now you're losing the weather sealing, but you know, image quality alone for most people, the E-M10 Mark II is fine. Let's see. The OMD Education Group. Yeah, you know, I'm sorry. Let me comment on Adam. Thanks again, Adam. Yeah, over there on the Facebook group, I wish I could spend some more time. I'm splitting my time between Facebook and Instagram and the MU43 forums. I can only put a post here and there every now and then, but I do see a lot of people, they reference me, and I appreciate that. And I'm glad to help. I'm glad that you guys are finding my videos helpful. Yeah, the E-M5 Mark III or E-M10 Mark III does have 4K, Nick. No question. I must have misspoke when I said that it did not. It just has, it's about $100 more with just one kit lens right now than the G85 or GX85, I should say. I was just shocked. I almost bought it because, I mean, $497 for a GX85 with the 12 to 32 and the 45 to 150 combined. That's a killer deal. Okay, I do long exposure to find out it can be more heat resistant to its polycarbonate body. How long are your exposures? I've done 30-minute exposures on the E-M1 Mark II. I know it's not a fair comparison. The E-M10 Mark II, I've done 15 to 20-minute exposures. I haven't tried 30 minutes. No overheating issues, and I've never heard of anybody saying they had an overheating issue. And right now it's winter, so I doubt even a Sony would have an overheating issue right now where I am. Oh my God, thank you, Abdul. I appreciate that. God, you guys are being so generous today. Let's see. Just a little more real estate than the 10, but the grip makes it just a little... Yeah, if you don't use pro lenses, this is the perfect camera. If you use pro lenses, I'd probably steer towards the E-M1 Mark II. I have a GX9 and would like to try an Olympus. I am choosing between an E-M5 III and a Pen F despite the price difference. Okay, I don't think the Pen F should really be considered as a competitor camera to any other camera. It really stands alone from any other camera because it's mainly a JPEG centric camera. So if you shoot JPEG and you love shooting tweaking things in camera like color profiles and saturations of different colors and contrast and grain and all of that, I would get this as a photographer's camera if you shoot JPEGs a lot, because it has a ton of features if you want to get into JPEGs and a lot of customization that you're not going to find on any other camera. If you want to compare against the G9, the E-M5 Mark III would be a better option to go smaller and lighter, because the G9 is essentially the E-M1 Mark II a year later, because the E-M1 Mark II came out in 2016, and in 2017 the G9 came out, and the G9 is just catching up to what the E-M1 Mark II did. And I don't know that it has anything any superior features to the E-M1 Mark II, but I'm not that familiar with that camera. It has, it doesn't have the pro capture like the E-M1 Mark II. It has like that 4K thing, but I think even after you take all those pictures, you have to kind of pick one in camera to say there was some kind of workflow issue that people were having with the G9, even though it has a similar feature to the pro capture. But I would, you would know that better than me because you have one, right? But yeah, the E-M5 Mark III is a much better comparison to the G9 than the Pen F. The Pen F really should not be compared to any other camera. The GX9, I'm sorry. Is the GX9 and I'm confusing. Is there a GX9? Oh, the GX9 is the rangefinder style. I was thinking of the G9 with the grip. Yeah, don't compare the GX9 to the Pen F though. There's no comparison. For JPEG shooters, if you're shooting RAW, you need to get the E-M5 Mark III to compare. LumenCube would help with lighting and is small and powerful enough to be useful. I have one of those. It's over there charging actually. Let's see. A really right stuff grip. Yeah, I thought they were always a little pricey though. I'm so cheap except when it comes to my camera itself. All the accessories and things, I get the cheapest I can. What difference with the pro capture between... it's something to do with how many frames you can capture. There's some limitation I heard on the E-M5 Mark III, like it does half as many frames as the E-M1 Mark II. I don't know the exact difference quite yet, but off the top of my head, it was like the E-M5 Mark III does half as many frames in Pro Capture as the E-M1 Mark II. That may or may not be true, but I think that's what I remember hearing when I was, looking at this camera before I bought it. Yeah, Mark, the 12 to 40 Pro, it's a little bit bulky. If you got fatter fingers than me, and I don't have big hands. I always like to give you some perspective. Most of the time, I buy size small gloves. When I go out and buy gloves, so if you buy a size large, that 12 to 40 Pro is going to be a little tight, I think, right here for you. And if you're wearing gloves, you're definitely not going to get your fingers in there, so you need to get a grip. Because if you only use Pro lenses once in a while, it's better to get this E-M5 Mark III and a grip that you can put on time to time. But most of the time, you're going to use it like this, I would think. Yeah, the tilty screen of the 10s, it's the best. It's too bad Olympus doesn't have like a tilty screen camera that's weather sealed, right? Not that I can think of. All of their weather sealed cameras have the flip around screen, and that's sort of a gap in their lineup, isn't it? Because there's definitely a lot of photographers, they skip the camera altogether just because of that one thing. That's the deal breaker for them. Yeah, Randy, I agree. I think the buying a grip for the E-M5 Mark III makes sense if you're going to use Pro lenses time to time. But in those times you don't want to use Pro lens, you have a nice lightweight camera. Oh, you like the LM3? I I don't know. I used it a few times indoors in small rooms. It works great. Um, where did I put that thing? I put it in a box. I don't use it anymore. I just use a radio trigger now. Oh, hey, Fotis. Yeah, you didn't miss any unboxing. I opened the box at the camera store and took the camera out, and the only thing in the box was just the cable and chargers, right? Nothing special there. Yeah, the photodiag grips are good. There's hopefully I haven't looked if there's any grips out for this yet, third party. But I didn't really want to spend 180 bucks for a grip just because it has the shutter button on it. Um, I'm gonna get me one of these wood grips like this. Yeah, just for cosmetic reasons, not because it's any more functional. But there is something very functional about this grip over the one Olympus offers. Is this has an Arca Swiss plate right here on the bottom, so this is ready to drop onto a tripod anytime, and that's a big deal to me. Like here's my EM10 grip, but it has the Arca Swiss plate right here too. And when I have this on my M10, I don't have to put on a separate Arca Swiss plate. Is the focus hold capability that is easy done in the camera for doing things like shooting through leaves to see a bird? I haven't tried that yet, but I did hear you can set the focus, further out. That's something I can try. Let me make a note. So over the next few days, God, tomorrow I have a photo shoot, so I may not have time to actually take this camera and use it. But let me make a note about the focus hold. And shooting through leaves. to bird. Because what I want to do, Depot, is I want to take this camera out with the 75 to 300 or maybe the 40 to 150 kit lens, not the pro one, and try some of those features that are kind of unique to this camera, right? Or you know, the TruePic 8 cameras. But it does have some ability. I kind of got lost in your messages there, Depot. I use for macro shooting. Okay. What is the shutter speed like? I just got shutter sound. Oh, I can compare that. You want to hear it? The shutter sound? I mean, I don't know how good it's going to come over online, but let's see. Let me set let me put it in shutter priority. I'll shoot them at the same shutter speed. We'll do 1/250th of a second. So that's... Oh, come on. I had it in high-res shot mode. God knows why. Alright, so we'll do standard shutter, okay? There, this is the standard shutter. This is not the first, you know, like the anti-shock mode. Did that register? It's really quiet. Alright, let me get the EM10. Shutter priority, 1/250th. Yep. Let me turn the focus off. Oh my God! Now I had this one on custom timer. Hold on. Regular shutter. Where are you? There. Okay. Here we go. Alright, now I can do these side by side maybe. Well, this one, I don't have a lens on it. Let me put a lens on it so it's a little more fair. Alright. Okay, side by side comparison of the shutter sound. Okay, E-M5 Mark III. E-M10. Man, it's about twice as loud. That's the EM5. That was the EM10. Okay, there you go. The EM10 is about twice as loud as the EM5. Okay, yeah, I got my Jennifer. I got my EM5. Obviously, right? It's right here. This is it with the Pro lens on it. I mean, that I've had the Pro lens before, but I was absolutely right about the Pro capture. Okay, good. So it's about half. Yeah. I did not get an email from the store that they had sent it out. I just called them and said, "Where's my effing cam?" No, I just called them and said, "Where, you know, did the camera come in?" And they said, "Yeah, it's here. Come on over." So I I went and picked it up today. Yeah, it's a big difference, the shutter sound, right? Yeah, the M10 Mark II, the shutter sound is much louder. I'm sorry, I'm just catching up on the comments. That was not with electronic first cut curtain shutter. Let me turn. Now the E-M10 Mark II doesn't have a true electronic first curtain shutter, but I'll put it into anti-shock mode. That's that one. Because it may sound different with first curtain shutter, because this I'm sure has a real... Now I'm going to turn off autofocus so you don't get that beep. So I'll do 2 shots with this, E-M5 first, and I'll do 2 shots. And this is with first curtain shutter. Okay, so the E-M10 is exactly the same. The E-M5 Mark II sounded the same too, actually, but that's with first curtain shutter. So Jack, you're saying, I like being able to reverse the screen with the flip. Oh, so you prefer the fully articulating, coming all the way around versus just tilt only. That's what I'm getting. Oh, hey John, how are you? Oh my God. Give me 1 second. I need to turn the heater off. I'm burning up now. I haven't turned the heat on in my house, you know, all this week. Just trying to save some oil. And the whole house is around 50 degrees, but this room is now 72 and it feels like a furnace. Yeah, the E-M5 III, it's really quiet. I mean, that is... what if I take the lens off and we'll just hear it raw? Okay. God, watch me drop the camera on the first day. Ooh, it's a little bit of a pop there, isn't it, on the E-M5? Huh. The video quality. I know, with the lens on, the E-M5 Mark III, you can barely hear the shutter. The E-M10, you can hear the entire mechanism kind of clacketing around, right? Yes, Kango, I am going to update all of the content on my channel with the E-M5 Mark III. Because the E-M5 Mark III has a lot of stuff in it, right? And the menu is totally different than the E-M10. So I definitely need to make a whole new series. You know, there's going to be a ton of overlap in my explanations, right? Like what is anti-shock shutter versus, you know, silent shutter. That's going to be almost verbatim from my previous tutorials, but just going through the menus themselves is going to be a big update all by itself, right? And then also the advanced photography mode. Well, that's what they call an E-M10. But this has the scene modes, which has the graphical user interface. I want to go through all of these and see exactly what's going on. Because, for example, I think if you do select portrait mode, like if you do people's faces, what do they call it here? People. So if you do like people, hold on, it's still trying to focus on my face. There. And then there's all of these selections inside. You know, exactly what is it doing? Because I know when I used eye auto mode on the E-M10 or the, you know, it sometimes it picked the wrong scene on eye auto and made it vivid when I didn't want it vivid. Okay, What your destination for the first walk with the M5 Mark III? Oh man, I don't know yet. I'm so bored with Alexandria. Uh, but that's probably going to be end up where I go because it just to go anywhere in this area is tough with traffic. But I'll give that some thought. I don't know. You know, a lot of times my photo walks is just I pack all my gear and I just start driving, and then whatever catches my eye, I start taking pictures sometimes. That's why, like a lot of these past few months, I did like these drive-by photography episodes. I really wasn't planning to go anywhere specifically. I just got in a car and I says, I'm gonna go out and drive on this route today and see what I see. So yeah, I don't plan these too well. Oh, Jennifer, I've heard people say that it takes longer when you order directly from Olympus versus going to a camera store like I did. But hopefully you don't have to wait too long. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point, Cal. Cal Bobcat is saying the weather ceiling's probably muting some of the sound of the shutter, and that's a good call. I think you're right. Oh, you thought the electronic shutter was a little more quiet, the anti-shock mode? I couldn't tell. My eyes and hearing are not what they used to be. Yeah, the high res shot mode is actually 25 and 50 in JPEG, and I think it's 80 megapixel in RAW if you do high res shot mode. At least that's what it is on the EM1 Mark II. I can't imagine it'd be any different on the EM5. But there is a high res shot mode on the EM5 Mark III. Oh, you bought a 12 to 40. Okay, good. It's a terrific lens, the 12 to 40 Pro. It's just a little bulky. I don't like to take it out much. For me, and when I say it's bulky, it's not bad if you're only taking one camera and one lens, right? It's perfectly fine. I guess I shouldn't say it's too bulky, but you got to understand in the context that I go out and shoot, I'm always out with at least three cameras in my bag, right? I got my camera I'm shooting with. I got a camera I might be comparing with, and then I got a camera for the actually video recording. And man, it's a pain. It's a pain with bringing pro lenses when you got three cameras with you. Yeah, Adam, I'm gonna see if it connects better. I did connect it to the OI Share while I was at the camera store to sync the clocks. And that's going to be one of my tutorials actually, is some of the first things you really should do with the camera when you first get it. Um, but yeah, the problem I was having, I'm not having problems connecting with cameras anymore. Somehow they updated the app recently and it connects a lot better now. That initial connection from camera to phone. I'm having a lot less issues now. But the issue I had last week when I went to the hockey game is I could not download all of the pictures quickly. I mean, I was waiting 30 minutes and it loaded, let's say I loaded 25 images, like every second or third image didn't get downloaded properly. I just got a big X on the thumbnail, meaning it got corrupted or something during the download. So I'm gonna test that though, because that's definitely something I want to do, is use the app more to offload pictures off the camera onto my phone, because I think it'll make a nice it'll really improve my workflow in terms of uploading the Instagram images while I'm just out doing a photo walk. So I can post 3 or 4 images on Instagram during the photo walk, and then when I come home and edit and upload the images or upload the video, you would have got a preview of the pictures on Instagram, and then you can watch the actual photo walk. How does the polycarbonate feel to the Mark II? Well, I don't have the E-M5 Mark II. I mean, I've held it obviously, but the E-M5 the E-M10 Mark II and the E-M1 Mark II have mostly metal bodies, right? Top, bottom, underneath the leather or pleather, and then the top. The E-M10 Mark III it does not, but the E-M10 Mark II, and honestly, it feels fine. It's very solid. I don't feel any torque. Like if I put any torque on this, it doesn't flex at all. You know. Yeah, there's no flex at all in the body. It's solid. And I've said this before, you know, this plastic feels a lot like the plastic on my TG5, which is, you know, rock solid tough. 'Cause like I said, I've dropped this thing on concrete, you know, flying out of my hand across the street, and it's barely a scratch on it. I'm not planning to do that with my E-M5, but it's very similar, the plastic between this TG5 and the E-M5. It's pretty tough plastic. The other thing that I noticed in terms of build is, let's see, the battery plate or the battery door. If you look at the battery door, you see how it has, hopefully I'm not reaching the close focusing distance of this lens, but there's a couple of screws there, and it's pretty thick, right? Compared to the battery door on the E-M10, which is, it's just held on by, and mine has a bunch of super glue on it because it broke off, but it's just held on by a couple of plastic pins, versus the E-M5 Mark. Dang it! I almost put my finger right on the sensor. I better put a lens on this thing. It has a couple of metal screws holding it on, which is a much better design. I am a camera hoarder. No kidding. Oh my God. Not as bad as Depot though. I mean, Depot does it for different reasons, but we definitely need to hook up. He's got some Pentax lenses I want to get and some Minolta lenses. Now Depot, if anybody's interested, I hope you don't mind Depot, but he has a ton of vintage lenses that, you know, he's happy to sell to you. So if contact, his name is Depot Familia. If you want any vintage lenses for just about any kind of camera, you know, he has some to sell. He showed me this humongous database today of lenses that he has. And I says, you know, I just want a kit lens for my Pentax. And, you know, a couple of taps on his phone and he found one just like that. Yeah, Adam, didn't know it won't sync the clock. Cool. It does sync the clock, but I think you meant that you didn't know that. Anyway, that when you sync the camera with the phone, it syncs the clock and the date. And let me tell you, you know, for me that's really important, okay? Most people, you can just look at your watch and say, okay, it's 10:30, I'm just going to put 10:30 in the camera. But for me, I have to sync 2 or 3 cameras together, and it really helps a lot if all of them are synced exactly to the second. You know, the timestamps on every image and on every video that I record. It helps me when I'm syncing and post-processing. But for most people, it's a convenience to be able to do that through the app, but it's not as critical. But it can be Just a little tip: if you're trying to sync multiple cameras in video, you can sync all the cameras to your phone first, and then they'll be in perfect sync with each other. I bought the auto lens cap for the Ford. Should be here tomorrow. Oh, awesome, John. Yeah, I really want to get. I was looking at that. I saw one on eBay for $160 with the cap on it. I just need to buy it. I don't know why I'm hesitating. Yeah, the 14 to 150 kit lens. I didn't get that with mine. Depot's giving some feedback on because he picked up the 14 to 150 today. And is Natalie your sister? Is that your sister that came with you today? Depot, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I think it just after it. I think he's saying the lens feels a little bit sticky. It's not smooth in the zooming in and out. Um, that'll probably work itself out after a few uses. It's probably just brand new. Because you're used to working with a lot of old lenses, right? Uh, yeah, the 17 millimeter, I'm starting to wonder if that's a common problem. Mine's a little bit clackety now when I'm doing video with it. Yeah, for people that have the EM5 Mark II, that grip with the battery and headphone jack, if you're doing video and you're fine with 1080p, and you manually focus, there's no reason to upgrade to the EM5 Mark III for image quality. If you're purely into photography, EM5 Mark II is awesome. The only exception being is if you do sports action and you need that tracking autofocus, right? I'm sorry, not tracking, but continuous autofocus is definitely superior on the EM5 Mark III. But if you're just going out birding or, doing photo walks and traveling, the EM5 Mark II is a fabulous camera, and the EM5 Mark III, there's really not much reason to upgrade. I mean, there might be a slightly better low light performance, but not enough that it would justify spending $1,200 on that camera. The M5, and I saw an EM5 Mark II for like $350 on eBay. That just, so tempted to get one because I love that camera in silver. Actually, it looks good. Man, I don't know, but I'm liking black lately too. I'm sorry, P. Kango. I have not tried the Bluetooth yet. I am anxious to try that though. The only advantage Bluetooth is going to give us, I think, is it's going to use less battery power in transferring the image, but it's going to be slower. And then also it's going to geotag the images so that if you want geotagging on your photos, Bluetooth will allow you to do that as well. Another interesting feature I saw on the thing was that even though if you turn the camera off, it can still connect to your phone and offload the images. I just quickly saw that in the menu, so I need to explore that a little bit more too. So I'll go through that thoroughly because that seems to be a unique feature to the M5 Mark III. Once I've had the camera for a little while, it's going to take me a while. I think my initial videos on this camera are going to be maybe a few photo walks, and then some very basic beginner tutorials, like formatting the memory card, syncing the clock, etc. But further down, I'd say before the end of the year, I should have plenty of videos out that talk about all of the unique features. I'll try and do them as fast as I can, but it just depends on if time allows, right? I have some jobs coming up I need to do. I'm losing features with this new camera. Yeah, the grip is definitely a loss. We're losing the headphone jack. We're losing the extra batteries. That is definitely an issue. You'd have to go with the M1 Mark II, which is only a tiny bit more than the EM5. And honestly, you don't need unless you like to do portraits, you really don't need an extra grip for the M1 Mark II because it already has the headphone jack built in. It has amazing battery life. Uh, probably better than 2 batteries on an E-M5 Mark II. So that would be your upgrade path if you want to stay with Olympus. And that seems very intentional on Olympus's part, right? To separate the two cameras. Because if there's no upgrade path on the M5 Mark III to get a battery grip or a headphone jack, then your only upgrade path is the M1 Mark II, and that seems very intentional to me. Which that's just the way it is. Oh, that's your wife. Okay. Dang. All right. Good. Wow, 25 years. My God, you guys don't look that old. That you guys will be 25 plus years. Man, congrats on that, though. That's amazing. Yeah, the 17 mil for 349. That's not bad. I would still probably get it refurbed when it's closer to 250 bucks. 350 seems a little steep to me for that lens. I mean, it's a fabulous lens, but it's a 17-1.8. Why is it so expensive? It's not weather sealed. It doesn't have built-in. It seems a little pricey for that lens. I think 250 is a good price, but that's what I paid for it. I bought it minty. I bought it used at the camera store for 250 bucks. Yeah, Dave, I'm sorry. I do look a little tired because usually I'm in bed by 10 p.m. and it's almost 10 p.m. now. And I've been pissing around since 6 a.m. this morning. Um, but I'm starting to get a second wind though because this coffee's kicking in now. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, definitely, Tony. It seems like Olympus is doing that. Um, I don't feel like Fuji does that quite as much though. Like the XT3 and the XT30 are so close, and I think the limitations on the XT30 are more physical problems with because they said because of the limitations in video. But I feel like Fuji doesn't do that quite as much as other companies. But Olympus still, honestly, I don't get the deal with having a headphone jack. I don't know what the big deal is. It's never really. I just look at the level meters, and I'm usually fine. Um, I mean, if you're gonna do serious video work where you need headphones and go all pro, I don't think you're looking at Olympus. Really, you're looking at a Panasonic or a legit video camera, not a hybrid camera like an EM5 Mark III. Uh, oh yeah, John, that's rough. 100 miles plus to go somewhere. Yeah, it's sad, right? There used to be camera stores everywhere, and they're just gone now. I'm very fortunate in this area to have 3 district cameras, within 30 minutes of me with no traffic. With traffic, it takes me a couple hours to get there, but still, it's worth it. And then there's another company called Ace Photo that it's a little bit further away. It's about an hour drive for me to get there with no traffic, so I don't go there quite as often. But it's also a very good camera store, Ace Photo out in Reston. Um, have I done a behind the scenes on how you set up your live stream? I haven't done a behind the scenes yet because I don't quite have the live stream down yet. But I can show you right now. Okay, just ignore the mess, okay? Don't judge. But here's my microphone, right? I did a review on this microphone in one of my videos. This is a Fifine microphone. It's like $50 with the stand and the shock mount and everything. And then I just have my camera here plugged into this laptop, and then I'm using OBS software. And then here's my umbrella, right, for light. And then the green screen. I mean, it's just on a couple light stands, right down here. And I have a second monitor over here where I watch where I read the comments, that you guys are writing. And then I'm just using the E-M1 Mark II for and the E-M1 Mark II, I'm with the kit lens, 14 to 42 kit lens, and it is continuous autofocus with face detect, and it's fine. So there's your behind the scenes. Nothing special. OBS software on the laptop, this light and a green screen, and that's it. I saw behind the scenes for the not Gerald, I'm sorry, what's his name? Oh my God, his name escapes me. God, he has a big channel too. It's not Gerald Undone, probably done one before, but it's the other guy, DSLR video shooter. What the heck is his name? He did a behind the scenes, and he was buying all these components, and he's like, oh, you spend like $30 on this and do that twice, and then you attach this and you drill one hole here. Oh, and then there's that other DIY guy. He gets really carried away. I'm like, oh my God, why are things so complicated? Even this setup here is extremely complicated to me. Trying to get this mic and the camera and the lighting all right with the green screen. That alone is enough, never mind trying to set up, all this. I don't know if you've seen these behind the scene contraptions that all these guys are using. I mean, why? Why make it so hard? Anyway. Yeah, Robert's camera is very good. They had a refurb E-M5 Mark II over there for $399 once, but I was too late. They were all gone. And this was back when they were selling for $700 all day long used. Yeah, the A7 III is nice. I mean, it was just, there was a lady selling her A7 III. I could have bought that with the 24 to 70 lens. The A7 III with a 24 to 70 for $1,200. Like $700 or $800 less than you can buy it on sale, even brand new. And it was only like 30 days old, the one she had. And when I held it in my hands with that lens on it, it just felt like I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. It was just too big and bulky. I mean, the E-M1 Mark II is just a little bit right at my limit in terms of what I want to carry anymore. Oh, okay, Thurston, you went to XT30. Yeah, I mean, I got that camera, and let me show you the grip I got for my XT30. Man, look at that grip. Oops, let me hold it. I love this grip. And it comes with these red buttons too, because that was one of the problems I had with this XT30 was the button is really soft. I can't tell when it's half pressed or fully pressed. It's very sensitive. So I'm having a little trouble half pressing and not taking a picture, right? So I'm gonna have to learn the back button focus with this. Get some muscle memory for that. But I totally get the feeling of the camera, right? When you have an all metal camera, I picked this thing up. This thing is like over 800 grams with the lens and the grip and everything. It feels substantial with the metal build. And being winter now, it feels cold in the hands. That metal feeling when you grab it. And the lens feels kind of cold, right? Everything is like, it feels metal. And that definitely has some intangible attachment to the camera to make you feel like you have a quality, quality piece of equipment. And I totally understand that versus, where's my E-M5? I'm picking up my E-M5 and it doesn't have that same feel as that XT30. Now, like I said, there's no flex at all in this body. It feels solid. And this feels a lot like, the other analogy I can give is the, like a screwdriver handle. That plastic on the screwdriver handle is really tough and hard, right? Like I was banging some nails with a screwdriver hammer today with the end of the screwdriver because I was putting up some security cams around my house. And that's how this plastic feels. It feels pretty solid. But I get that. It's not the same as, an all metal camera like this Pen F or that XT30. And if that can be a deal breaker for a lot of people. I really get that. One of the problems I'm having, one deal breaker on this XT30 though for me was is this level meter. See that? Okay, it only does horizon. Whereas the E-M5, let me get out of the E-M5, right? You see the level meters, it has pitch and it has horizon. So I can tilt this camera, and that's a big deal for me, right? To have pitch and horizon, pitch and yaw, whatever they call that. Because I do a lot of architectural work, right, professionally, but also when I'm out doing street shooting, it's one of those things for me. I like the lines to be perfectly straight as possible, whether I'm doing a video, whether I'm taking pictures. If it's a little bit off, I can always correct slightly in post, but I like to eliminate as many things in post-processing as possible. And that pitch missing off the Fuji is why I'll probably never buy a Fuji for professional work, because that is something I really use a lot, both professionally and personally. But yeah, Thurston, I don't blame you though. I totally get, that feeling is definitely, it's, I think it's, I get it. I get where you're coming from though. Oh, Caleb. Thank you, John. Caleb. Yeah, it's Caleb. I forget. I don't know. I haven't watched a video from him in a while. The last one I saw from him actually was his behind-the-scenes setup for his YouTube videos. And it was before I started streaming because I wanted to get some ideas on how to set up. One of the dumbest things I bought was this stupid foam sound panels in my room. Maybe I need to buy thicker ones. I bought the 1-inch thick. But man, I got nail holes all over my walls because tape and everything didn't hold them up. And yeah, it was a mistake. Pen went out of business long ago. Yeah. I use MPB in the UK and they ship. Is MPB, are they in the US too? Because I need to sell some of my old Nikon gear. It's just losing value the longer I hold on to it, and I'll never shoot it again. Uh, yeah, I just have Instagram and Twitter. I don't use the Twitter too much. I'm trying to, uh, but nothing else in my website. So the social media stuff I have right there, that's all I have right now. Oh, I have a Flickr. I have a Flickr. If you want to check that out, just search for me, robtrek, on Flickr. You'll find me. Uh, and then I had a 500px, but I haven't touched that thing in 3 or 4 years. It's been a while. But Flickr is a little more current. There's a lot of shots there that I did with my Pen F. And then as you go further down, it goes all the way back to 2012 or something. You'll see a lot of my shots that I did with my Nikon camera. And I was really into landscapes and things back then, so you can check those out on Flickr. I think it's under robtrek. Yeah, Wahab, I don't know why. Maybe, sometimes when in the Wahab saying he's not seeing me live, sometimes that little cursor at the bottom, slide that all the way over to the right, and then you should be caught up. If it's already all the way over to the right, then it might be some other internet connection thing that's beyond my control. Uh, Pitch and roll. Okay, thank you, Ken. Pitch and roll. I know. I just sometimes I know what things do, but I don't know what they're called. Uh, God, Depot will tell you today. I forgot something. I couldn't describe something with the actual correct vocabulary. I just had to show his wife what it was, and now I can't remember what that was. My God, my memory's so bad. Oh, hey Wahab. I don't think I'll sell the D750 body itself, but I want to get rid of like my Tamron 150 to 600. That thing is mint. I think I used it twice, and I still got the box, and it still got the stickers on it. And then my 85 millimeter f1.8. That's seen some use. Not a lot, but that's seen some use. And then I have a 70 to 200 f4. Bunch of stuff. So if you're local, I'll be happy to send it to you. I mean, like in the United States, anyway. Yeah, if I sell the lenses directly myself, like if Wahab buys it, I'll make a little more than I would if I sold it at the store. Yeah, Flickr is. Let me see if I can look that up for you exactly. I'll try not to lose sound. Uh, Here it is. robtrek. So it's flickr.com/photos/robtrek. So these I think are I think these are TG5 shots. Yeah. What I like about Flickr is it has all of the EXIF data, right? So this is a picture I took with the TG5, and all the EXIF data. Let's go to the next one. What's this? This is the EM1 Mark II with the 9mm body cap lens. That came out pretty nice. What is this one? EM1 Mark II with the 12mm f2. So this EXIF data is wrong. This was a 135mm Nikon. I think I forgot to change the lens data info in the EM1, but anyhow, if you want to check out my Flickr, there you go. Oh, let me add the link for you, sorry. All right, there's my Flickr link. Let's see. Watch special hidden Fuji X-T3 feature by Paltech. Okay, yeah, man. If there's a full pitch and roll, there's got to be, right? I mean, how can you make a camera without pitch and roll? Thanks, Gray Vanzini. I saw the thumbnail for that video this morning. I just didn't get a chance to watch it because just so many things going on today for me. But I'll check that out. It's not the Tamron version 2. It's the original one. My 150 to 600 was when it first came out. It's the A115 or 105, something like that. It's not the version 2 of that lens. Red 35 is no longer making YouTube videos. Oh, really? I didn't notice. I mean, I wasn't following his channel a lot. I watched like about once a week. I'll hit up his channel and see what's new and if there's anything of interest. But I haven't. You're right. I don't think I've seen anything recently. I had one of those soft shutter releases that I added to my E-M10. It is held on with a tape. Ooh. You mean that little red button ripped off your shutter button? Wow, that's gotta suck. Man, I gotta be careful then. You know, on my Pen F, I use like this concave shutter button. So you can see it's rounded off, right? So it doesn't really catch anything. But on my XT30, my XT30, you can see there's definitely some place for it to catch. So the close focus distance on this lens is not as good as my Pro lens. But you see that? I could see where that would catch and rip off the shutter button. Maybe I should take this thing off. Man, that would suck, man. Wow. Oh, so MPB, yeah, they do have a U.S. office because I think a friend of mine was trying to sell his Nikon gear off. Because he bought a Nikon Z and he wanted to get rid of his other stuff. Just saw him today about stopping videos. So he posted a video that he's going to stop making videos? Oh, it's clickbait. Okay. Probably. I mean, he was on a roll there, right? He just has a little bit too much B-roll for me. You know, when you watch, I don't know, you guys tell me, right? I watch so many videos, like, I don't know if you guys watch as much as I do, but I watch a ton of videos. And it's you know, when we get into B-roll and all this trendy music, you know, it's like I just tune out because it just doesn't add anything to me. It's just annoying to me now, watching B-roll with all this trend. Because that music, you know, a lot of the music that I hear now on these videos, I'm thinking like in 5 years, it's going to sound terrible. Like, you know, like it's going to be like, God, that's so yesterday, that music. So the music I pick in my photo walks and things, I just try to pick something calm and only one instrument, maybe two. But, and then all my tutorials, I've pretty much eliminated all of the music and sound in my tutorials because it's just, you know, it's bad enough you're trying to learn something that is hard to understand sometimes, than to throw in music on top of that. Yes, convex can. I'm sorry. God, I think that's the second time you've corrected me tonight. Convex is better than concave. Yes. My vocabulary is so bad. Uh, you like Peter McKinnon? I know. I not a big fan of Peter McKinnon's videos either. I'm just too old, I guess. I don't know. You got to be younger to kind of like his stuff, I think. I'd be curious to see his metrics, like what his age group is. Because the metrics on mine, I'm about 20% across the board. 18 to 25 is 20%, then 25 to 35. Like everywhere from age 18 and up is pretty well evenly matched. But I bet channels like Peter, his age groups have got to be 18 to 25, maybe up to 35. But I can't see like somebody my age in their 50s and 60s watching his channel and enjoying it. I can't. Oh yeah, if you watch my videos on Amazon Fire Stick, or like I watch a lot of videos with my little Apple TV. You get a lot less ads. So you can actually just kind of watch them. I mean, they still show up, but it's not as much as like when you're watching on a computer. I'll have to watch Red's video. I forget his name again already. Oh my god. Red's definitely a little more hip, and I think he has a little younger audience generally. Maybe it's pretty evenly spread like mine, but he has a. I would imagine his audience is a little younger. He's a little closer to Peter McKinnon than I am, right? Um, you're 41, man. I remember being 41. Seems like yesterday. Oh, you're burnt out on drone stuff. I guess, yeah. I mean, my screensaver's a drone shot, right? So I see drone shots every day, all the time. I don't need to see it when I'm watching a video. Uh, do you have a good source for music? I am doing video for our schools and I am on a tight budget and would love to spend. I don't have any sources that I pay for. YouTube has a free music library if you're making YouTube videos. So if you're making YouTube videos, they have a free music source, and that's all the music that I use is from the YouTube music resource that they have. Jimmy Chang, yep. Oops, I'm sorry, I hit the microphone. Um, yeah, I saw a EM1 Mark II video, a review, where I'd say 90% of the video was drone shots. And then there was about 10% where he's holding the camera so you could see the M1 Mark II, but then all of the images were drone shots. I couldn't figure out how you can call that a review of the camera when there was no pictures of the camera. I mean, no pictures from the camera, I should say, or virtually no video from the camera that I could tell. That was, and I think, anyway, that was a horrible video. A horrible review of the M1 Mark II. Premiere Elements has so few tracks. Yeah, it's true. Another software that has some music. It's not great. Is the Corel Video Studio Pro. If you watch some of my videos where I have the Pen F as they call it a bumper, where there's like 7 seconds of my Pen F kind of panning around like this. The music I used for that was from the Video Studio Pro. They have a software built in that automatically adds music to the video, but it's computer generated. And that's kind of an interesting way. Download a free trial of Video Studio Pro, And if it can work on your computer without crashing every 5 seconds, you may want to pick that up. And I'm sorry, I was referencing Adam talking about Premiere Elements Pro. Camera conspiracy, yeah, he does his own. Yeah, I'm not talented that way. Oh my God, I could not. When I first started, I used to play piano a little bit and then guitar for a little bit. Uh, and I was like, man, I'm gonna write my own song, right? How hard can that be? It's only got to be a couple of minutes. Yeah, no chance. And I can't sing. Oh my God. I used to karaoke all the time. Uh, that's another story. I'll just end it. I'll just give you a long story short. Some lady came out of the audience and ripped the microphone out of my hand. I was so bad at karaoke. My God, Adam, thank you. You don't have to do that, man. I appreciate that, though. Thank you. Band in a box. You need some music knowledge. Yeah, I've heard of that software years ago. Oh, thank you, Deepa. I appreciate that. Yeah, my photo walks. Errol's saying he likes to see more photos and less video. Well, the video that I do is always from the camera, right? So it's actually part of the experience, right? What's it like to vlog with the camera, and what's it like to do the photography? Because I don't see the point of like doing video with some oddball camera. Because I used to do, I got this little DJI, and I did a lot of vlogging with this. Not a lot. I did a few vlogs with this, and I I just felt like I was cheating a little bit, right? I was cheating the viewer because you're not getting the images from the Olympus camera. You're getting it from this, some of the vlogging. So I don't use this as much. The only time I use this now is in my drive-by photography, and I have this mounted on the windshield so I can talk while I'm in the car. And I got a microphone jack for it now, so hopefully the audio while I'm driving is a lot better. But a lot of times when I'm vlogging, it's so noisy around here. The only quiet place is in my car, and there's no way to really easily mount a camera in a car without getting really elaborate. With the rig to set up a camera in the car. You ever see those rigs that people have in their car for cameras? Man, that's, I ain't spending that kind of money or making, my life is so, I don't need to make my life that complicated. So this is very simple, right? Little GoPro mount and a suction cup that I paid $10 for. And I'm going to use this in the car, but I'm not going to use this so much when I'm vlogging. I'm going to try and use the camera, just hand hold it or whatever, so that the vlogging and the images are all from the camera that I'm using. So that's really, I think is the only way to do it. Well, it's just the way I like to do it anyway. Because, yeah, throwing in B-roll with drone shots and unknown cameras together with shots from the camera you're talking about or using doesn't make sense to me. It seems like, that's a whole production, that's doesn't make sense to me. Because I'm trying to review the camera and show you images from the camera. I'm not trying to create a production or tell a story so much, right? Okay. Oh, thanks, Tony. I try. I'm still working on it. I've been doing this coming up on 3 years now, and I'm still trying to find my niche. Oh, Cancer Can Rock has some YouTube library. I don't know, unless they put it in the library under their name, Cancer Can Rock. I can search for them by name. in the music library, but if they didn't use that name, then I don't know. But I'll try and use their music if I find it, and I'll credit them with their for their cause, you know. Yeah, I'm gonna use the M5 Mark III now on for vlogging, or as much as I can, because it's really the perfect vlogging camera. I think Peter just did a video on that. Where did I put it? I already lost it. It's already in my bag. Yeah, because I need to get a pancake lens for it. I might try the 14 millimeter. I don't know. I got to give that some thought. What kind of lens I'm going to use for vlogging, because I want to be able to take pictures and vlog at the same time. So I think the 14 to 42 kit lens is probably best for this, for that kind of action. Oh, my drives. Yeah, I want to do that some more. I probably have to because it's so freaking cold now. Yeah, download the trial, okay? I only paid $20 for my Corel Video Studio Pro because I downloaded the trial. I let the trial expire, okay? And then I would open it up again and it would offer me like 80% off. And I said, okay, well, for 20 bucks, you know, I'll buy it. Even if I don't use it that much, it's worth $20. I don't know if it's worth 100, but it's definitely worth 20. Somewhere between 20 and 100, it's worth that much. But again, you have to download it and try, because some computers, man, that thing crashed all the time. And I had to uninstall and reinstall, and then there was a few updates, and then it was relatively stable. I would say it was stable 85% of the time, but it still crashed just often enough that I always hesitated to use it, and I don't use it anymore because I use DaVinci Resolve now, which is free. But of course, DaVinci has no music library. So Corel has a lot of interesting special effects and things. If you really want to get carried away, they have so many things built in that if your computer doesn't crash when you're trying to use them, it's great. Oh, you better go to work, Wahab. Man, don't be late. It's not worth it. Oh, you never been here live, Adam? I feel like you've maybe commented, or maybe I've seen you on the Facebook, you know, back and forth somewhere. Yeah, John, I use Google Maps a lot. You know, I'll do a virtual walkthrough, right? Because they have the street level maps now. Like a place I want to go is um whatchamacallit, Ellicott City here in Maryland. So if you guys, no matter where you are, you can go onto Google Maps, I assume, and do a street level view. Search for Ellicott City in Maryland and walk through Main Street on there. It looks pretty good. And also Harper's Ferry in Maryland. I want to go back there. I've been there a couple times, but I haven't been there in a couple years. But that's an awesome place to do photo walks. It's just up north and freaking cold. Now, when March and May come along, March and April, I'm gonna go up to Pennsylvania and visit the Olympus headquarters there, and they have a steel factory right next door to it practically. So I'm gonna try and plan a week up there and do a lot of photography and photo walks. So we have pitch on the XT30. Thank God, man, because that was irking me when I was out on a photo walk. I was trying to do when I did the photo walk in Alexandria. We have which is basically all architecture. It was like I was like, man, this some just oh yeah. And I know it's a small thing for most people. Who cares if the lines are a little bit off? But you know how some things just bother. People have pet peeves. That's one of mine. It's like, get your GD line straight. Anyway, uh, that's me. Yeah, Harper's Ferry is. Oh, the bluebell flowers. Yeah, those are beautiful. Oh, thanks, Errol. I appreciate that. Thank you. We were up at Joe Wheeler State Park just over a week ago. What is Joe Wheeler? Is that in Pennsylvania? Joe Wheeler State Park. Let me make a note of that. Well, I'll make a note if it was any good. Joe Wheeler. Oh, in State Park. Okay. Um, Annapolis. Oh, it's in Alabama. Okay, never mind. Annapolis. Annapolis is okay. It's very similar to Alexandria in terms of photography. Uh, there's a place called Quiet Waters Park. I may have done a video from on that once. That's a really nice park, and it's so quiet there. Thank God. Uh, that's a nice place to go take pictures, but it's getting cold now. But Annapolis, they just have a couple of streets, but it's so hustle and bustle there. And it's very similar photographically speaking, I think, to Alexandria. I don't see the need to drive to downtown Annapolis, but oh, is Olympus? No, they haven't approached me to teach anything. They have approached me in the sense that if I want to get some gear to review, they'll send it to me. So I requested actually an EM10 Mark III with a 12 to 100 uh, because those are two things I will never buy: an EM10 Mark III and a 12 to 100. And they're both fabulous products, right? I mean, I just don't need an EM10 Mark III, so I'm not going to spend $500 for one. And then the 12 to 100, I prefer using primes versus zooms. I'm sorry, it's the 12 to 200, not the 12 to 100. The 12 to 200, that new kit lens zoom. It's not a kit lens, but their new zoom lens that's weather sealed, but it's not a pro lens. Because there's a 12 to 100 Pro f4, but this is the 12 to 200 weather sealed lens. It's not a pro lens, so it's a little bit slower. But that lens and the M10 Mark III, I want to review for you guys and talk about and maybe do some tutorials because they're fine products. It's just I have so much overlap here. I just don't need it. And I like I said, I don't like super zooms like 12 to 200s or 12 to 100 or 2 or 3x zoom is about as much as I like to do, not 10x. Yeah, I think the silver does tend to show wear a little bit more. Like here's my Pen F, right? It's wearing pretty well, but let me see. Where's the and I beat the crap out of my cameras. I doubt you're going to be able to see it. But it's holding up really well, you know? I mean, this camera is 3 years old, just a hair over 3 years old. And other than this grip over here came off, I put some Sugru and made my own. And then, but anyway, it's held up really well. So I don't know what they did. I think right by the shutter button there's a little bit of wear. So I can see that this is silver paint and not silver metal, but right here, right where I have my finger, right in the corner there, there's a little chip on the silver paint. But other than that's a weird place to get a chip, right? How about on the corner here a little bit? Anyway, yeah, it's held up really, really well though, the Pen F. I don't have any other silver well, I'm lying now. I forgot about this. This is a camera I've beat the crap out of. You can see that big dent right here where I dropped it. And now the screen doesn't close all the way. And then the bottom, I don't know. This thing I've beat up pretty well, but the silver paint is still holding on. It's not bad. And it works great, this camera. Oh no, don't worry about making don't start writing Olympus to make me a visionary. That's not necessary. Like I said many times before, Olympus wants visionaries that take good pictures, okay? My pictures are not that good. I mean, I take a good picture, but not epic, you know, like Red 35 over there, Jimmy Chang and Peter Forsgaard and Robin Wong and I've never seen Joe's pictures, but I assume he's good. But those three guys, man, I've seen their portfolios somewhere. You know, they have their websites and stuff. My God, their pictures are epic, you know. They should be visionaries, not me. Had a chrome metal panel. Interesting. The EPM1. I'm not familiar with that one. And it took the silver off the plastic body. Ooh. Duracell leaked, huh? Was it a Duracell rechargeable battery? Like specially made for the camera, or was it just a generic like AA battery? Wow, that's rough. Oh, hey John. You're asking, you have an EM5 Mark 1. Should you go up to a Mark 3 or even a Mark 2? If you're taking primarily photography, just static images, it's not worth it. Not even the EM5 Mark 2. In terms of image quality, your money's much better spent getting lenses. Now, if you're doing a lot of sports action type stuff where you need to track moving objects all the time, things are moving all the time, then definitely go for the EM5 Mark III. The only advantage I think the EM5 Mark II has over the Mark I is the video capability. It's definitely superior from the EM1. I'm sorry, from the EM5 Mark I to the EM5 Mark II. The video capability is definitely improved. And it's improved from the Mark II to the Mark III even more. But if you're talking about just regular photography, you know, landscapes, you know, just travel, buildings, people, no reason to upgrade from an EM5 Mark I. Sports action, you got to go to the Mark III. Skip the EM5 Mark II. It's not good for sports action, but yeah, that's my opinion. Then don't forget it has the Mark II and the Mark III have the fully articulating screen. It doesn't have the tilt screen like the Mark I, so that may be a deal breaker for you too. If you're going to upgrade and you don't need weather sealing, the EM10 Mark II or the EM10 Mark III might be worth it for you. Just to get some of the more advanced features like the focus stacking and bracketing. There's definitely some more advanced features that you can expand into if you're into that kind of thing. So I would probably steer you to an EM10 Mark III over the EM5 Mark II, unless you need the weather sealing. Oh, no, I don't think that matters. All the teaching and reviewing I do of the gear, because you can't put like my picture, my face on the Olympus Visionary page and then link to my portfolio. You know, it just doesn't. That just that would be a laughing stock. You know, as a photographer, like what could I possibly teach you? Look at my pictures. If my pictures suck, what would I be able to teach you? That's kind of people's initial impression, right? Is they look at these fabulous epic images and they're like, man, I could learn a lot from that guy, right? But if they look at my pictures, they're like, what could he possibly teach me? Okay, Deepa, I'll see you later. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate that again. Yeah, and then, like I said, I think I talked about this in another live stream. When you become a visionary or an ambassador for a particular brand or company, not necessarily Olympus, but any company, or even when you get products for free, like I get products for free time to time in exchange for review, it's hard to not think at some subconscious level. You may not even be consciously aware of it, but at some subconscious level, how can you say something bad about this product, right? Um, or company, because there's a lot of goodwill and faith that they put into you when they give you the gear or give you this status symbol or some recognition, right? How can you in turn say something bad? Even if consciously you're thinking, I'm going to be honest and truthful and I'm not going to deceive my viewers in any way. Consciously you're thinking of that, but subconsciously, how can that work? So when I review products, I only review products that I have a very high level of confidence that it's going to be good, right? And if it's not good, it better be cheap, right? To kind of justify any faults with the product. Like I reviewed a wireless microphone. It's like $25. A wireless mic for $25. And yeah, it's not as clear and as good as my $200 wireless mic or $250 wireless mic. But I was happy to review that because it was $25 and not a lot of people want to spend $200-300 on a mic system, a wireless mic system. So that mic is a good option, right? When you balance in the cost. So because I get offers, not every day, but every week I get offers to review products and different products, and I turn down most of them. Because I'd say even by this time, well, it's been a year. I wouldn't say I've gotten, 50 offers, but I've gotten close to 30 or 40 offers to review products that I just would not do because either it has nothing to do with photography or very little. Like this microphone, this company was sending me offers all the time for microphones, and I just all year and last year I just said I'm not doing a microphone review because I don't use it in my photography. But then when I was thinking about live streaming, that's when it made sense for me to review this microphone, because then I would actually use it and it might be of some interest to people how I live stream and how how I do these live streams and tutorials is I use this microphone. So whenever you see me do a product review, I've already kind of researched it and saw that there's already good reviews on this product. So anything I add to it is going to be positive, because I don't want to get a product for free from a company and then dump on it and say this is crap, So I'm not going to take a product that I think is crap. If I think it's crap, and I do get a lot of crap offers, I'm not going to review it. I'm only going to review the good stuff. And if there's something wrong with it, something minor, right? It's usually that minor negative thing about that product can be mitigated by the price point. It's like, hey, it's only $25. What, at this price point, what do you expect? But anyway, that's enough about that. But yeah, so being a visionary or an ambassador or to any company or brand, I think there's always going to be some context. And I don't think consciously anyone's going to be dishonest with you, at least not Peter and Robin. They're not going to be dishonest with you in any way. But they may not be as critical as say Frono's photo when he got the EM1X. He was extremely critical of that camera in a preview, and I appreciate his channel for. I really don't mind it when people dump on Micro Four Thirds for the faults that they think it has, because that's honest, right? But I can come back and be honest too and say that, well, that doesn't bother me. I think the images are fine. But anyway, I've been kind of jibber jabbering a lot. I don't know if anybody's been asking questions. Oh, hi, Leon. Wow, South Africa. Anyhow, that is my 2 cents on being a visionary or ambassador to any company and then doing product reviews, just so you guys know where I'm coming from, because I can't lead with that in a product review, right? I can't lead with, I thought this was going to be good before I got it. I have to kind of just talk about the product. Let's see. And if I find a problem with a product while I'm reviewing it, I told them I'm sending it back. I'm not going to review this if I think it's bad. Why waste somebody's time and tell somebody this is a bad product, right? Hey, watch my review. This product sucks. I'm only going to review products that I think are good and useful. Oh, the 75 to 1.8. Oh my God, it's an awesome lens. Okay, yeah, the working distance, if you can get past that. Let me show you one image. Let's see. Is it here? Yeah. Let me give you a feel for this. The Olympus 75 to 1.8, what's my impression? Can I get this to come up? Yeah, let me get my big head out of here. Okay. This I took with the 75 to 1.8. Let me look at the EXIF real quick. This was at -1 exposure comp. Wow, it was a bright day. This is at f2.2 ISO 200. And let me reset the picture back to its defaults here. My white balance is a little off, but I mean, the composition's a little off and stuff. Just ignore all that. But the fall off for the and the reason you buy a lens like this is because you want that shallow depth of field, and you want that beautiful bokeh in the background to be smooth and buttery. So, oh, wait a minute, you're not seeing this. Hold on. You're not seeing. Give me a second. I'm sorry. I'm trying to show you this picture of this. Did that work? Oh, there we go. All right. Now you can see it. Oh, but it's got this, you know, I got the green screen like filter on. Let me turn this off. Does that help? No. Well, I'm going to have to make it black and white. Give me a second. Why isn't this black and white? Please. All right, that's a little better. There's still some bleeding here from my green screen masking. But just look at the fall off of the bokeh, the shallow depth of field. I mean, that's the reason you would buy such a lens, right? And it's just amazing. If you look at the background, the bokeh balls are just perfectly round and smooth, and they're not busy or messy. You know, it's very, very clean. So that's one thing. And sorry, I need to get back and make sure. Casa. So Kasav, I hope that's the answer you were, or that was, I answered the question you were kind of getting to. Now the focusing is very fast. That thing is, yeah, it's a fast lens for focusing, and being wide open at f1.8 or having an aperture of f1.8 lets so much light in that it can focus really fast. The only thing is, where is, here it is. I bought the silver one. Just make sure you get a lens hood for it. I don't know why I put that rubber ring on there. This is 70. I don't have my glasses. A 56 millimeter lens hood. Don't buy the one from Olympus because it's too much money. Just get one of these metal screw-on type lens hoods. But the lens itself is pretty small, right? It's not very big. But it's fantastic. I mean, I really should take this out more. Maybe I'll do that one day. I'll take it out more. But that's, yeah, it's an awesome lens. Oh, hey Noe, how you doing? Boy, coming in at the tail end, or have you been here a while? Oh, you want me to put it on the, oh yeah, I can do that. It's gonna look weird, the silver lens on a black body, but I'll do that for you. Let's see. On the E-M5 Mark III, I assume it's the only Mark III camera I have. Okay, just as a reference, here's the 45, okay? Just to give you some reference. I'll take the lens hood off. Okay. All right, so there's the how can I hold this so it looks a little without dropping it? There. I mean, it looks weird because it's silver, right? And as far as the grip goes, you know, you can kind of get a feel for, and like I said, I have size small hands when I buy gloves, but this has more room to it than the 12 to 40 Pro. The 12 to 40 Pro sticks out even more than this. I'll give you a different angle. But there you have it. It's not bad at all. Now it's gonna look really weird with this giant lens on it though. Okay, or lens cap. But it doesn't add any weight really, you know. But yeah, this actually feels fine on this camera. This lens is not heavy. I think this is only like 250 grams or 300 grams or less. It's not a heavy lens. So yeah, it's definitely manageable on here. No problem. Let me just feel this. No, they're about the same. But you can see the 12 to 40 Pro is a bigger lens, right? Because when I put this lens on, my fingers are a little bit tight inside the grip, but this one I'm not. Man, look at that opening in there. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway. Yeah, this lens I bought it I don't know where you are. I bought this on sale because I did buy this one brand new, but I got a good deal. I think I paid $700 for this, $699. But this was like over a year ago. But it's fabulous. Like I said, just the working distance is kind of high. You know, you have to be at about 3 meters or 10 feet, whatever metric you use to measure. Oh, you're in Cleveland. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I think 700's about right. And this goes on sale on Olympus's website, getolympus.com, for like under $700 all the time. I think I've seen it for $599 once. Oh, thank you, Izon. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm definitely going to focus on the autofocus system on the E-M5 Mark III. That I'm going to probably do more in the photo walks and stuff, the autofocus part, but just, you know, in real life. The tutorials are going to focus on the procedure, right? What the different autofocus points are, what they do. So it's going to be more kind of procedural, how to set up the autofocus. But the actual autofocus in action, I'll probably take it out and just do photo walks with it, kind of informal. So Kostov, hopefully I answered all your questions on the 75 millimeter, but let me know. And but yeah, this you're making me want to go out and shoot with this lens now after looking at my dog picture. Oh, I need to let her in. It's kind of cold out. But she doesn't like to come in. She loves it out there because we got all kinds of deer and everything that she can chase. And she killed a squirrel yesterday that was she's so fast. Man. I feel bad for the squirrels and birds. Yeah, if you don't mind the working distance of that 75, don't use any macro tubes on it. You're not going to be able to use any macro rings on this if you want to do macro photography, so forget that. But for portrait work, it's pretty awesome if you have some room. Wow, it's almost 11, so I'm going to have to probably call it here soon. Because, you know, when the live streams get over 2 hours, I mean, over an hour, it gets hard to watch. Like, for people that aren't here now, they want to watch it later. It gets hard to watch for them. Because they don't want to scroll through 2-3 hours of live stream. Yeah, the squirrels. I read the funniest thing on MU43, or was it 43 Rumors? I guess Olympus came out and put a statement about whatchamacallit. They put a statement out that, yeah, they're going to be putting out 2-3 cameras a year, and they're going to be they're not selling. They put out a statement to kind of temper all the fears of them selling the camera business and or shutting down the camera side, and that's fine. I mean, everything I see online, it really doesn't matter. Uh, if there's a rumor things are going to get shut down, or if there's a statement from the company that we're going gangbusters and shoring up our business and making it even stronger, it it doesn't matter. Well, all that matters in the end is, are you taking pictures? Are you enjoying the camera, that you have now? Because this EM5 Mark III, I'm good for another 3 to 5 years, and there's plenty of lenses out there to buy. Uh, and in 3 to 5 years, we'll see if Olympus is still around, cranking out cameras. Great, I'll buy another one. If not, I'll just buy something else. It's okay. You know, I I don't let these kind of things bother me because my timeline is is about well, I shouldn't say my, it's really about photography. It's not about the gear that you're using. I just happen to love Olympus, and I would be very sad if they stopped making cameras, because I think they make the best cameras for me. But um, let's see, my camera's from 2010. I know, right? There's really no need to upgrade. If and like I said, I tell people all the time because someone earlier was asking about the EM5 Mark One and if they should upgrade to a Mark Two or Mark Three, and I said, well, if you're just taking pictures, you probably don't need to. Oh yeah, I did watch Robin's video this morning. I guess it just came out. I usually watch YouTube videos in the morning while I'm having coffee. Um, and I think, long story short, he said basically people aren't doing photography anymore, or you know that I don't know. Let me think. He was, social media, and I mean, I think he made all valid points. I don't know if that's why. I don't know if I agree with him in the sense that that's why photography sales are down. Um, but I think his point was we need to get back into photography, and that the art itself is very stagnant, and that I do agree with. Only to the point of what I know about photography, because I haven't actually gone out and looked for photographers that are breaking the rules and getting out there and doing things, because they might be out there, you know uh, creating new types of art and expanding photography as an art. I just don't know about them, and maybe that's because nobody cares if somebody's breaking new ground in photography. Even if they were, maybe nobody cares. It's I just don't know enough about that side of photography, the art of photography. I have been watching a channel called Advancing Your Photography, and there's a guy on there that talks about the same thing Robin was how do you come up with something original and new and unique in photography that hasn't been done, thousands of times already. And it's really hard. It's really hard. Let's see. Have you had any experience with the Sigma lenses? No. Robert, I have not used Sigma lenses on my Olympus cameras. I try to stick with the Olympus branded lenses for the Olympus cameras because of all of the features that our cameras have that require that you use an Olympus lens, like focus stacking, high res shot mode, um, to name two that I can think of off the top of my head. But uh, that said, that's because I'm a very multi-purpose type shooter, and having the lens at any given focal length, I don't want to be limited in what I can do with the camera. But for very specific things, like you said, if you're doing a portrait job or you want to do portraits, it doesn't have to be paid work, but you want to do really nice portraits, that 56 f1.4 seems pretty awesome, and it's like $500. I think makes sense, right? Because you have a very specific intent that you would want to get that lens. And there are lenses that I buy for very specific intent that may not be an Olympus branded lenses. I just haven't had that come up yet in my photography because Olympus has had everything I need up to this point in terms of focal length and speed. But yeah, Olympus doesn't have a 56 f1.4, right? It's kind of in between the 45 f1.8 and the 75. Here's Olympus with this 56. It's like if you need that very specific lens, it makes sense to buy it. I don't see any reason not to buy a lens from a different manufacturer if you have very specific intent. But for me, Olympus has every focal length I need covered at the speeds I need, and that's why I haven't bought anything outside of Olympus. Not that I'm an Olympus snob, it's not because I think they make the best lenses. It's just that their lenses work best with their cameras in terms of all the features that are available to you. Whereas buying a third-party lens, you may not be able to access all the features our cameras can do. Yeah, you're right. I mean, everybody has, Noe's making the point that, the gear is good enough now in the last 10 years even. I mean, I could go out and shoot with my TG5 or a Pen PL1, the original one. I saw for $99 today with the lens at the store today. And, for photography, if you want to get into photography, any camera will do. I mean, even a film camera, to be honest, if you're into the art of photography and making good images, you can do that with just about any camera. It's nothing to do with the gear. The only reason you buy gear is because you have a very specific intent sometimes, or you have a very specific purpose, or you're doing professional work and you're getting paid. Like, I have to have this, for me, right? I have to have this $1,000 lens. This is 8mm fisheye 1.8 because I get paid to do work with this, and I can justify the cost. But yeah, if you're just an enthusiast or just getting started, my God, a $100 camera, the $99 Pen PL1 with the kit lens is good enough. The SP570 UZ, that sounds familiar. Wow, you waited a long time to upgrade there, Kostov. But yeah, the MK3 is a great camera to upgrade too, I think. EPM2, yeah, those things. Yeah, the EPM, 1, EPM2, I think if they're similar to the EPLs, I think the EPMs were like the little bit larger size and the EPMs were the light version, right? Hence, but they were virtually the same otherwise. There's nothing, there's nothing wrong with those cameras. They take fine pictures. I should do that, go buy that EPL one for $99 and then do a side-by-side. I think people might be a little surprised, or it might be a wake-up call to people about, they feel like they need to upgrade. And then I'll say, well, look at these two pictures. Do you still think you need to upgrade? If this is the kind of photography you do, then maybe not. Yeah, the original OMDs, the M1s, yeah, they're fine. When you say original OMDs, are you talking about the like the 500 series? They were called E500s, I think, or E-volts. The original 4/3. But if you're talking about like the Mark 1s, the M1 Mark 1, yeah, fabulous camera. Yeah, no, I know what you mean about gear. Like if I do my photo walks get a lot less views than my my gear reviews time to time, right? Or if I talk about gear, like my God, I was just speculating on the E-M5 Mark III. Uh, the camera hadn't even come out yet, and I got more subscribers and views off just talking about gear than I ever did using gear or teaching about gear. But my best videos are actually teaching how to use a camera. My beginner series, like tutorials, those are my most popular videos by far. So I'm definitely gonna get back into that. I just have to update the content a little because people are buying EM10 Mark IIIs for 2 years now, and I don't have any camera that has the new menu system and new features that Olympus has been pumping out for the last 2 years. My content wasn't fresh when it came out 3 years ago because those cameras had already been out for a couple of years. So I desperately needed to update my teaching, my tutorials. So that was about 30% of the motivation to get the EM5 Mark III was I wanted to update the content. And the other 30% was I just liked how the camera looks, and another third I can't remember now. I split it up into three pieces. One third this, that, and the other. And now that I have the camera, it doesn't matter why I wanted to get it, right? I have it now. Yeah, Tony. So you have the EM1 Mark I and EM5. Yeah, they're both fabulous cameras. There's really, when I was shopping cameras back in 2012, I ended up with a Sony NEX because the EM1 Mark I was still $1,000 plus camera, like $1,100, and that was like, I was just shocked how much cameras were. So I was able to get away with an NEX6, I think, for like $500 with a lens, and I was kind of okay with that. I thought that was still a boatload of money, and I couldn't justify spending $1,100 and then have to buy a lens back in 2012. I mean, I don't make that much money overall that I can be spending, that kind of money on a hobby. Now I do it professionally, so I can justify some of the costs, but it's, anyhow, I think thinking about I need to call it in about 5 minutes. So if there's any other questions about the EM5 Mark III, because I did get it today. It looks, yeah, I'm going to start cranking this thing out, taking this thing out for some photo. Tomorrow I have a photo job that I have to do, so I may not get a chance to do a photo walk with it tomorrow. But this weekend, I'm going to be taking this out. Well, Tony, I don't know. You might be better than you think, seriously, just you might be much better than you think, and you could probably do a pro job. You're just lacking the confidence, to do it. Not so much maybe the skill. You're probably a very skilled photographer. I mean, that was kind of my where am I going with this? Yeah, my real estate, like when I got into real estate photography, uh, I knew this agent. I said, I'll do every listing you got for free, you know, because I needed to get out, and I said, if they come out good, then you can use them. If they don't come out good, no harm, no foul, right? So I ended up doing like 5 properties, no charge for this agent, just to build up my skill set because I didn't have any experience taking pictures of buildings. But I said, I know how to take a picture. I know how to push a shutter button, right? Uh, and that's how I kind of took off from there. And the pictures I took from that photos, from those first 5 buildings I took, I would say are probably 80% as good as I do now, and I do much better now. But in terms of like if I were to, they were 1,000 times better than any agent would do. That he took himself, the pictures he took of the properties versus what I did, were 1,000 times better than that. But I'm even better than that now because I've been doing it all these years. But you're probably taking much better pictures than you realize. Because when I look back at those images from like 5 years ago, or I don't know if it's been 5 years, maybe 4 years, I'm still impressed with the work I did with the little bit of experience that I had. So after seeing those, my confidence went way up. So that's all. If you want to go pro, you may be much better than you think. Is all I'm saying. Oh, thank you, Leon. Okay, yeah. So I did talk about this earlier, but I'll talk about it again. The E-M5 Mark III, everyone knows is all plastic, right? But it's solid, okay? And by that I mean, like, if I try and twist it, there's no flex at all in the body, and it's rock solid, and it's very very similar to my TG5 in terms of the plastic. And this TG5 is, their tough camera, right? You can step on it, you can drop it, you can throw it, what have you. And I have dropped this thing and threw it across the street, not on purpose, but I've thrown this thing across the street, and it hit the ground pretty hard, and not a barely a scratch on this thing, and that's kind of how this feels. It feels kind of like a very sturdy, tough-built camera, but it is plastic. It doesn't have that metal feel. Because I think someone was talking about they went to the XT30 because they didn't like how the camera felt in their hands. And I get that because when I pick up the XT30, this is my XT30. I got this grip for it now. It's for everybody that's kind of joining late. I kind of went through this earlier on. But this thing feels solid too. There's no flex at all. And when I hold it, it's cold, right? So it's all metal because everywhere I touch this camera, it's a little bit icy to the touch because it's winter time. Of course it is. But some people really like that feel. If it's you gotta have that kind of tactile kind of like feeling to your camera to make it feel substantial. So the M5 Mark III doesn't feel substantial like an all metal camera. But it's definitely lighter, and I think it's going to be very, very tough, just like the TG5. But if having that metal feel in your hands makes you feel like you have a better camera, you know, that's hard to ignore, right? Because how you feel about a camera makes a difference, at least for me, in terms of the pictures you're going to take. If you're like just doing it as a hobby or as an enthusiast, if you're doing it for pro work, these are all just tools, right? And you don't care what the camera looks like or feels like. If it does the job, then it does the job. But as a consumer, like this Pen F, this is all metal. This feels solid, This definitely feels more substantial, and it feels like it should be more expensive than the EM5 Mark III. But yeah, so I feel like the M5 Mark III is solid and tight and very weather sealed. It feels very, in terms of weather sealing, it feels even better than the TG5, even though I'm sure it's not as good as this. But it feels a lot like the TG5, just bigger. But yeah, that's my thoughts on how the plastic is. It's tough, like the TG5. Several years, held up well. Yeah, I guess the T90 is all plastic too. Andrew's giving some feedback. He's been using a T90. I don't know. Is a T90, is that a film camera too? But yeah, most of the cameras from the early days of film, not the early days of film, I'm sorry, towards the end of the film era, all the film cameras became plastic. And they're holding up just fine. So I don't think durability and weather sealing and all that is affected at all with the M5 being plastic. It's just a matter of how it feels in your hands, if you like that feel or not. If you don't like the feel of plastic in your hands when you're spending $1,200, you may not want to get the camera because it feels like a plastic camera. But I don't think it takes away from its durability at all. Oh, hey, Alan. The grip. Okay. It's fine for most lenses, but if you're going to get pro lenses for it, it's tight. Like, okay, I think this is a better angle. Okay, so here's the 45 millimeter f1.8, right? And if I put my hands on it, I have plenty of space for the grip and my fingers. No problem. But here's the 12 to 40 Pro, right? Now look at this. See the gap is a lot tighter. And then as soon as I start to wrap my hands around, you can see it just touches the thing. And then when I put my hands in, my hands are fine. I wear a size small glove. Okay, men's hands size small. But if you wear a size medium glove or size large glove hands, you're gonna have trouble with this part going in. So you might want to get the grip for it or consider the E-M1 Mark II. But I would say this is the limit of the size lens I would personally use on this camera. Even this is a little bit bulky for me in terms of balance and stuff. I just don't like this lens, be honest. Even on my EM1, well, on the EM1 Mark II, it's fine because that has a very substantial grip. But this would be about the limit to me. Beyond this, you'll need to get a grip for it. So if you're shooting a lot with pro lenses all the time, get the EM1 Mark II. Don't get this. If you shoot occasionally with pro lenses, yeah, just buy this with a grip when you need it. Oh, hi, Bob. How are you? Oh, thanks. Yeah, the stream's getting really long. My voice, I'm starting to lose my voice. Hey, Kamal. God, I'm sorry. It's 5:30 a.m. there. I know, right, Tony? Yeah, the Fuji, I just had to scratch that itch. And I didn't want to spend that much on a Fuji, but you know, if I'm going to do any comparisons against the Olympus cameras, I have to get the best Fuji, you know. If it was my personal camera, like if I didn't have this channel, I would have got an XT1 or something just to you know, fart around with. I wouldn't have got serious like that XT30. Okay, Noe, we'll see you later, man. Thanks for coming in. It's always good to see you, buddy. And I really enjoyed your live stream and your channel. You guys check out Noe's channel. He's really awesome photographer. Over there, Noah's rain photography. But yeah, I think I'll call it. Yeah, no, I'm always giving you a shout out, buddy. No problem. And you know, even in my community tab, when I post stuff, I'll mention you. Yeah, and let me make one more note before I sign off. I'm using the EM1 Mark II. We're going on 2 hours and 45 minutes on this live stream, or 2 hours and 40 minutes on this live stream, and the battery says I got 19 minutes left. So I can go almost, I guarantee I could go a solid 3 hours plus on this one battery. And that's another reason to strongly consider the EM1 Mark II over the EM5 Mark III. Is if you need a long battery life, EM5 Mark III wouldn't even come close. So, All right, everyone. Thanks. Thanks for coming in. Sorry anybody that's watching. I'm sorry it was so long. If you're watching this on replay, maybe I'll edit this and cut a few things out. I'm gonna do another one probably Sunday morning for me, so like 9 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So we'll see you guys again then. And thanks for everyone that made a donation. I appreciate that. That really helps me pay for a lot of this gear that I don't need. Because I got more than enough that I need, but I don't have everything you guys like to talk about sometimes. So we'll catch you later.